In this next series, we're going to discuss our step overs. When we talk about step overs, it's really introducing the cyclical action that we want to see, whether we're talking about an endurance athlete or an athlete preparing for high-speed running in a field sport or sprinters. Now, when we teach these, we do them at 3 different levels: stepping over at the height of the ankle, stepping over at the height of the shin, or stepping over at the height of the knee. Now, traditionally, you see these taught one of 2 ways. The way we're going to teach it is whereby Jair is going to be as tall as he can. He's going to imagine he has a little button under his feet that he wants to strike every single time. All the while, the roof is coming down, and he's trying to press it up nice and strong. As he steps over and strikes that button, he wants to hit the bottom of his foot, specifically the ball of the foot. Re-engaging with why we call the foot the trigger. We want that trigger to go off every time it hits the ground. Now, sometimes you'll also hear these drills referred to as dribbles. And when they're referred to as dribbles, oftentimes the athlete is striking the heel and then rolling over their big toe. While this is a subset or a way you can do it, we prefer to teach the ball of the foot strike because it directly applies to how an athlete needs to run on the field or from an endurance perspective out on the road. We're going to start with having Jair step over his ankle. To give everyone context, we want to place your mind here. Imagine that you have, and Jair will imagine that he has, 2 dowels, one coming out of each of those ankle bones. As those are locked in at the ankles, he's simply going to cycle over those as if he was on a tiny unicycle. Said another way, he almost wants to imagine he is in ankle-high water, and he's simply trying to step out of that water every single time he cycles through. All the while, he stays vertical, not to get kicked forward, not to get kicked back. We'll take a look at how all this comes together. Okay, Jair, on my first go, stepping over your ankle, moving forward. And go. Nice and strong. Beautiful. Arm cycle with the legs, up and over, up and over, up and over, and relax. So in terms of what the athlete is focusing on, literally all Jair and your athletes will focus on is lifting up over the ankle and striking back down. As they simply move forward, that is what's going to create the cycle action. Athletes should never have to think about kicking the front door or kicking the back door. As we discussed in the lecture, we want those legs to stay coiled under the body the entire time. Through an increase in speed is where we see that circle take form. So therefore, it is critical that they lift those laces up and strike them down. The circle will take place on its own. Now we simply want to lift that hammer a little bit higher so we can strike that ground a little bit harder, therefore running a little bit faster. So now, one comes out of the ankle, other one's over the shin, lifting a little higher as we strike down and through. On my go, Jair, stepping over your shin, and go. Lift it up and punching, beautiful. Start to speed up, start to speed up, start to speed up, and relax. All the while, he's in a great position, imagining that he's almost leaning into the wind. We call it that Titanic position. Be on the edge of the Titanic, lock everything in, belt buckle forward, energy through the ball of the foot. When athletes are doing this, one of the cardinal mistakes that we can see happen oftentimes is athletes do this in place. They don't actually speed up. So give the cue, accelerate like a Prius, not a Porsche, reminding them that they want to speed up all the way through the entire drill, whether it's 10 yards or all the way a full 40 yards. Now the final drill here, we want to lift that hammer to the highest point. So therefore, we want him to step up over his knee, strike back down. These mechanics now start to take the form of actual elite running, whether it was a wide receiver trying to get to the end zone or an elite sprinter trying to finish the last in the 100 meters, stepping over the knee, striking down and through. All the other principles apply. Vertical posture, snapping under the body, hitting that button, don't get kicked off the front, don't get kicked off the back. Okay, Jair, stepping over that knee on my go. And go. Lifting it up and punch, punch, speed up, speed up, speed up, and relax. Once an athlete has the capacity to do step over ankle, step over shin, and step over knee, we have now created the context and the construct by which they can apply higher speeds or run for longer distances. But the capacity of an athlete to own these 3 progressions put them in an optimal position to optimize their personal absolute speed mechanics. And that's exactly how we want to perform our step over ankle, shin, and knee runs.